What's up, everybody? It's the Hard Deconstruction. You can find us at harddeconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/harddeconstruction, as well as facebook.com with your host, Alex, and...
The Bear Jew.
And today's film is...
Hostel.
Hostel is a 2005 film directed by Eli Roth. It's about three backpackers that head to Slovak City that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea that the hell that awaits them.
Oh my god. Again, a pretty accurate Wikipedia entry.
Stars Jay Hernandez, Derek Richardson, Ethior Gudjonsson. And like I said, it's written and directed by Eli Roth. The film that came out in 2005 amidst the rise of the Saw franchise, I assume, right?
And also, I remember Quentin Tarantino presents it. I think this is like maybe the first film that... No, I'm probably wrong. But he has a connection to this.
Eli Roth had directed Cabin Fever before this, and I don't know if Tarantino was a part of that one as well. He might have been. But
I don't want to hear your fucking sass, bro.
He was definitely a push behind this one. This is when he was his mentoring phase with Eli Roth, because Quentin Tarantino also mentored. Let's see, who's the other fantastic director?
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, see how good he's with the Spy Kids movies and all those.
Come on. Robert Rodriguez is awesome.
No. What? He was awesome, yes. Saw came out in 2004, and Hostel... Well, Saw set up that whole torture porn kind of stuff, right? I would say. So. But it was smart. It was like a smart and pretty inventive torture porn film. It wasn't like the film that the series became later on, with the kind of just... Let's just see the torture for fun, for fuck's sake, right? And like that kind of thing. So Saw came out in 2004. Obviously, it's the guys who created the Insidious franchise as well. This came out after, and it was kind of writing the
2005 here.
Yeah, kind of writing the coattails, but not necessarily.
But it's so different.
Right,
It
is.
It's a movie.
It's a different. It's more. I don't want to insult...
I was surprised that this was actually a good movie. I really was.
I don't want to insult John Carpenter's name, but it's more genre, fun kind of... You know what I mean? Like a John Carpenter-ish kind of fun genre horror film, right?
Yeah.
Without saying it's too much Carpenter. As opposed to Saw, which is more trying to rip off Seven. Right? Do you know what I mean? In that kind of comparison, so...
I don't know. Saw grew on me, but we'll review that eventually one day, I'm sure.
Yeah, so... This was like a fucking awesome movie. I remember seeing it day one when it came out, and I thought, wow, this is the other franchise that, Saw.
Are the sequels good? Because I don't see the point of a sequel to a movie.
I'll get to the sequel, and the sequel upset me very much so.
There's two of them, right?
Yeah, there's Saw 2 and Saw 3.
No, I'm talking about Hostel.
I'm sorry, yeah, Hostel 2 and 3, excuse me.
Yeah.
Hostel 3 was direct to DVD, and Hostel 2 was directed by Eli Roth as well as written by him, and it does like the flip version, like with females instead. But we'll get into that and how I'll bitch about that movie. But so let's get into the storyline of Saw. Funny enough, this is like
you keep saying Saw. It's Hostel.
Hostel. See, that's why I'm getting fucked up. Hostel is one of those horror films, where they're setting up the characters for half an hour, which I wasn't bored with.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does the same thing in that Aftershock movie.
Yeah, that's why I was saying Aftershock was almost a spiritual sequel to this movie, Hostel.
And usually when they do these kinds of like stupid party scenes, clubs, all that, I'm usually like, okay, I get it, just fucking get to the movie. But with this, I didn't mind at all.
Do you think it's because you visited Amsterdam, though, that you kind of were like, oh yeah, I can kind of remember this kind of stuff?
Well, I didn't do that kind of stuff, but like... I don't know. No, it's good. Like, it's kind of a realistic depiction. It's not, like, cheesy or stupid, which it normally is when they do that kind of stuff in movies.
Yeah, you get worried when the first shot is, like, the title Hostel, like, hanging off the actual hostel itself, and then you hear rock and roll music running through, you're like, uh-oh, but then it was actually pretty good. It's like...
Yeah. They're normal American tourists.
They're setting up these three characters, Paxton, Josh...
Well, one of them's Icelandic, right?
Right. Paxton, Josh, and Oli, who's the funny guy of the group, who I wish there was more of that. That actor only did
Now, is his butt actually tattooed with eyes?
I think it was drawn on with a pencil in the movie, so I don't think so.
Okay.
He was actually a very cool, funny character, but he's not an actor, I don't think so, which is the strange part. I think Eli Roth met him and just put him in the film, which is funny, because you're like, oh, fuck, why isn't this guy more movie? Like, I would watch that guy in a lot of movies,
Yeah.
And he was only in Hostel in part 1.
That should be his trademark, though. He always has eyes on his butt.
He was in Hostel 1, and he was an associate producer for, I guess, the Iceland shooting in the sequel. So I guess that was it for him. I guess he was just a buddy that Eli Roth was like, hey, come in the movie. I guess Eli Roth kind of has that.
He's always the butt of the joke. Ha ha!
He has the knack of finding non-actors and putting them in movies like that fit them, I guess. Anyway, so Paxton is played by Jay Hernandez, who's like the only Hispanic character I remember from any horror film besides Saw.
Bill Paxton's last name.
Yes.
He's actually the personification of Bill Paxton's last name.
He's your stupid toad brain. But Jay Hernandez is like, I think he's Puerto Rican, I'm not sure, which is fine by me. I've never seen any Puerto Rican character in a movie that wasn't ripping or stealing a car or some shit like that. And the only other Hispanic character that I saw was in Saw Part 2. Which was the bad guy, the Puerto Rican bad guy.
Oh, yeah, the one that's like punching through the doors and shit.
I wasn't embarrassed that it was a Spanish bad guy. I was just embarrassed that it was a bad actor. I was like, oh my god, this is the only fucking Spanish guy you can find in a fucking movie. So that's it. That was the balance between Saw 2 and Hostel. And I'm not like one of those super patriotic guys about my country. But
he is super Span. Well, no, I'm sorry. Super
spick? Is that what you want to say?
Super spick.
Outrageous. There's also Derek Richardson, who is the fair-haired, blonde, young, cherubic-faced man who we'd think is a protagonist of the film.
Yeah, I actually did think he was. I was surprised when it flipped it around like that.
Because he's kind of the sweetheart. Watching this kind of reminded me of the cult movie from...
Kill List?
No, not Kill List. We'll get to that. But
Shrine. That's what I meant.
I meant VHS.
Really?
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of Shrine in parts because it was like this weird European, creepy.
Right. I only mean
everyone knows about it, kind of.
I only meant VHS 2 that the protagonist was not who I thought it was going to be. Like, you know how they made the protagonist had other asshole.
No, I meant the overriding theme of everybody being in.
In on it except for you.
Shrine a little bit.
But yeah, you're right about Kill List as well because there's a whole. It's the whole cult because I guess you can.
Cults are creepy. What the hell is wrong with people?
There's a cult movie coming out called Jughead, which is pretty funny, or Jugface or something like that, where it's like kind of those Davidian people, you know, and they're worshiping this wooden face that looks like Pinocchio. It looks pretty creepy, but I don't know if it's a horror film or a drama or whatever. But that looks kind of creepy.
And they all come into the hollowed out head and then drink from it.
Yeah, they tell lies to it. They tell lies to it, and the nose erects, and it just shoots spasmodic.
And then they'll take turns backing into the nose.
Spermatozoa, yes. So Paxton, Josh, and Ollie are all hanging around. Where are they in the beginning of the film? They're around.
They're in Amsterdam,
right? And they're partying it up. Josh is kind of
and discotheques.
Yes, I like how they call it disco over there. It's just funny.
Discotheque.
Josh is very apprehensive about hooking up with other girls, just like the guy in Aftershock. But that character, I guess it's funny because that character.
That's probably Eli Roth. As a putting himself in or something.
Yeah, because that character also died first in Aftershock, which is strange. And in this, I guess he just broke up with his girlfriend. He's feeling really apprehensive about having sex with any other girl. To me, it felt a little weird because they eventually meet the Dutch businessman who's played by Jan Vlasak, and I always saw like there was some kind of homosexual undertone in that scene. Like,
well, he does touch his leg and stuff.
Yeah, he touches his leg, and then Josh touches his leg after he kind of saves his hide from these kind of rebel, the Lost Boys kind of little kids.
Yeah.
But there's also that little back and forth that they had it with each other at the bar about choosing family or doing the thing for yourself.
Right.
I kind of felt like the businessman was telling him, "Listen, you can be gay when you want, and then but choose your family at the end."
That guy's got some issues.
Who?
The businessman has some personal issues.
Yeah, I would say so. When we find out like an hour into
they get resolved though in the last scene of the movie.
Yes, definitely. So Pax and Josh and Ollie are going around. They're trying to whore it up. They go to a whorehouse. And I guess they try to get Josh out of his funk, but he decides not to. Although that prostitute looks pretty good.
Do you know what I heard? That in Amsterdam, they're making all the red light district and pot like only for the locals.
Really?
Or only for people maybe with European Union cards or something. Basically...
Are they afraid that Americans are going to spread disease over there?
I don't know. Probably the American... Because it's true, American tourists suck, and they're probably getting out of hand. But it just sucks because... You know, like I was there. I wasn't acting crazy or anything.
I hear
know.
that happens in Japan a lot. That they're afraid of Americans spreading a lot of disease. So there's like a lot of racist backlash. Like there's certain bars they won't let anybody that's not Japanese in. They won't let a lot of the prostitution areas. They won't let that happen. So I can imagine that's happening in Europe. That would suck for that to I mean, just not for me, but for
like
anybody that just wanted to go over there.
If they do that, they're gonna cut out a lot of tourist money.
Yeah, because when you think about Amsterdam, it's like
that's the reason people go there.
Yeah, it's like an adult one.
It's like drugs and have sex.
It's like an adult wonderland if you think about it. It's like the Disneyland for fucking around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I am also. It's funny enough. I'm reading a book called The Dark Side of Disney, where this guy gives you tips and hints on how to get into Disney, break into Disney for free, how to score drugs, where's the best secluded spots to have sex.
There's like a particular Mickey Mouse guy dressed in one of the suits that has cocaine.
It's the ethnic Mickey.
You have to find him, but like that particular Mickey always has bags of coke and heroin.
You know what I hear is strange about Mickey Mouse? Just to step away for a second, is that I heard Mickey Mouse his design is actually because he's doing blackface. That's why his skin is black, but he has a white face.
Well, he was racist and anti-Semitic.
Was he?
That's what I've always heard. Yeah.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do?
I mean, who knows? I could be spreading rumor. It's okay, though. He's dead.
So, going back to Ali, Paxton, and Josh, they're at this, I guess, red light district horror place. And I guess Ali and Paxton have sex. Would you ever go with your bro to bang a chick at one time?
No,
that's
creepy. I would never want to have sex in front of other people.
And
that's
fist
weird.
Bump?
Unless it's like in front of a girl or something. If it's like a hot girl watching me have sex with a girl, that's cool.
Can you imagine? You're just banging one girl, then the other girl watches a girl who's a friend.
She's just watching and like evilly rubbing her hands together.
And then you're like, yeah, you like this? You slut! You're gonna yell at her from across the room or something?
She's like the verbal punching bag of both
funny.
people having sex.
Yeah, like if you're not married and then you have her wear hair curlers and an apron and have her iron your clothes while you're having sex.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like the representation of the wife that you hate.
So you're having sex with this one girl and you're telling her to clean your dishes and shit across the room. Anyway, so they try to get Josh to have sex with this prostitute who has pretty spectacular breasts. They're pretty
there's some hot girls in this movie.
Nice looking. She's nice.
The Natalia, the evil Natalia one, she was so hot.
Yeah, Natalia, the brunette, right?
Yeah, her friend looked kind of like a drag queen.
Was her friend Svetlana, the blonde?
Yeah, she looked like a drag queen to me.
Yeah, well, they end up running into this. They come back late. They can't get into their hostel, so I guess they go into somebody else's apartment. It was Ali who knew the guy. I don't know.
Yeah, they go into some creepy dudes. No, they didn't even know him. He's just some creepy guy. And
of course, his name is Alex. He's played by Lubomir Bukowski or whatever. And he has this big, what's that thing on his lip? He had like a herpes kind of thing on his lip, which is pretty funny. That reminded me of this time. I don't know if I said this story before, but I was at this club with my friends, and these people were just smoking weed in the club, and this guy had like a little pipe to smoke weed. And he just had, I guess, his lip pierced, so his mouth was bleeding while he's smoking this pipe. Then he handed it to this guy that I worked with. The guy didn't know. He started smoking from it. I should have stopped him, but I was laughing at that because I didn't really like the guy.
I'm pretty positive. I got mono when I was a teenager. I'm pretty positive it was from sharing a bowl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh, disgusting. What does mono do? It just fucks up your breathing and stuff, or?
Well, I remember, I don't remember too much, but what I do remember the most was that they were telling me my spleen could explode if I got, knocked, and I had to go to a concert, and everybody was moshing, and I was so scared that, I was going to explode my spleen if someone hit me.
I remember I went to a concert after I had some surgery, and I had these blood pumps on me that were...
What?
I had drainage in my actual, the sides of my body. So I had these little balloons that you could fill with blood. Well, I mean, it would.
That would have been like a horror movie.
Right? No, but it has happened. So I was standing there and I was like, "Oh shit! Please, nobody bump into me." And then one time, I remember I was sleeping, and you have to have the drains in your body so this dead blood can just suck out of your system. I rolled onto it, and it looked like there was a massacre in my bed when I woke up. It was just a big pool of blood everywhere. It was really disgusting.
God, that's sick, man.
You know, also, if you have like those drain pipes on the side, it wasn't nothing serious, people. Not that they really give a shit. But they said, though, you're supposed to be relaxed and not have, not that much action, because it'll stop the blood from pumping in that needs to be taken out.
Right.
And I kept having sex with my girlfriend. Nothing would ever come out of the
God, I could picture the bags just like jiggling along on the side.
I know, it's pretty. I guess it's pretty ridiculous, the sequence. But my doctor would tell me, like, would you stop? Would you cut it out for a little while? And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like a young guy. Anyway, so going back to Hostel, how that tunes into Hostel, I have no idea. But they meet these. Alex tells them, "Oh, I'm going to show you these. You want to meet some girls, and it's in this way off place. Where was the area that they were going to? Like near
it was Slovakia.
Slovakia. Because he shows them a photograph of photos on his camera of him sleeping with these 3 girls, which I assume were Natalia and Svetlana and this other chick.
Right.
And pretty hot chicks in that photo. Whatever. I would have gone too as well.
Yeah. So do you think? But they did get laid. Yes. At least twice each. Do you think it was worth it? Because I was considering, would I, knowing the consequences to come, would I have done it? Maybe.
Knowing guys like you and I that we're just filthy animals, probably. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, would I give up some of my fingers? Would I die? Yes.
Who doesn't die for vagina at the end? Seriously, who doesn't? That's all guys care about anyway. So, oh no, wait a minute, we care about feelings. Anyway, so the 3 guys get on.
I'm actually a very sensitive guy.
You mean sensitive on his
I do care about feelings and emotions.
The feelings in his penis and the emotion that it brings to others when he shoves it in. So
you are a male chauvinist. I'm not like you.
Patriarchy. How dare they? Let's join the feminist movement. So they get on a train towards Slovakia, right?
Yes.
They meet up with a Dutch businessman who's this kind of creepy guy who's showing them a wallet that's not his. With a photo of a little girl. He claims is his daughter. We found out Ali has his own
I read that there's an alternate ending, and in the alternate ending, which was originally the original ending, he kidnaps that businessman's daughter. So it is his daughter.
Right, I hear about that. I heard about that. I forgot about that, but I heard that.
I think it really is his daughter.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was Did they edit it around that it wasn't his daughter then?
Well, Quentin Tarantino wanted to make the ending that you don't sympathize for the businessman.
Okay, yeah, because I think people were kind of that he kidnapped the kid at the end in the original screening for the film.
Yeah, because it's not like this guy isn't. Basically, what it said in the Wikipedia I was reading is, they didn't want to make him seem like this stone cold killer kidnapper guy, because he's not. He's just a guy who went backpacking and is very angry.
I think maybe what it is that maybe the original idea was that he became just as crazy and not crazy, but as ruthless as they were to him. Like they showed no humanity, so he decided to not have any humanity towards the end. Anyway, so businessman, he's this guy who has like a tremble in his hand. He's trying to eat his salad with his bare fingers. Which was it, a turkey or a chicken? You think it was pretty disgusting looking.
It looked gross.
Anytime somebody eats with their finger, they just kind of get grossed out. So no offense to anybody with their religious beliefs that does that, but oof. So anyway, the Dutch businessman puts his hand on Josh's lap. Josh is all freaked out about it, a little bit too freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably be like,
hey. Creepy. He was probably picking up his vibes. Because it seems like basically that guy with the herpy lip, pointed them towards this organization. This business guy knew it and got them into it. And the girls that met them there were in on it too. So it's like this conspiracy.
Yeah, what we find out is that they're part of this group called Elite Hunting, which has this kind of, a bloodhound as their insignia, and then they have tattoos in certain arms. I guess once you paid. One of the guys later on we see in the film paid $50,000 to kill somebody, so I like that character. That character's a pretty good actor.
That guy is a creep, man.
He was a great actor. And it was funny, the guy who plays the Dutch businessman didn't speak, according to IMDb, it says he didn't speak a word of English. He learned all his lines phonetically, which fooled me, because that was from good fucking acting.
He's very talented.
Very good actor. So they make it to the second hostel, which is apparently, they were afraid because they look around, it kind of looked like it was a barren wasteland, that area. But they do eventually make it to this other hostel, which is full of young people and a spa, and they're automatically in a room full with other hot chicks. So they get
and it's all basically a setup.
So they're sharing a room with Natalie and Svetlana, with these two smoking hot, like 10 out of 10. There used to be this magazine.
No, Natalia was super hot. Svetlana was like a drag queen-ish a little.
That's 8 out of 10?
Like a 6 out of 10.
Oof, you got some high marks up there. So there used to be this magazine called Perfect 10 that tried to like beat Playboy by using girls with natural bodies in the late 2000s, but I guess they didn't make enough money because maybe they just ran out of all girls that didn't have fake tits or something. Right. So anyway, so they're that kind of European model, skinny girls with healthy bodies, I assume, and eventually the guys all have a good sexting time with the girls. Joe
sexting. It's like Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, Josh actually finally gives in and bangs Natalia, and Ali bangs the desk girl from the first hostel, which was strange because she worked at a completely different hostel from the one that they were at, right?
I guess. I mean, it was hard keeping track of all the little characters.
Yeah, so they're all banging around, and the next morning, Ali vanishes, and they're trying to figure out where he is. They get the worst text message photo ever. It's so funny because it's just Ali and this Japanese girl. Her roommate comes up to Josh and Pax, and they're like, "Listen, what is this?" And she really pronounces the L's instead of R's, which I thought was like, over the top almost in a way. I was like, "What the fuck is she talking like?"
Well, because they have trouble.
I know, but I've never heard it that bad. She was like, "Your friend."
With L's.
She was like, "Your friend.
I've heard it that bad.
But I think it's funny. I think she was born in London, so maybe she was.
So she was overcompensating for the.
I think so.
The accent.
She was born in London, England, so I don't think she really has that kind of. I think she's Chinese in actual life because her name is Jennifer Lim. She's like, your friend. I was like, your friend? I was like, what the fuck? I dated Japanese girls. They never had like that. They had a bad thing with the R's, but not
2 seconds
bad.
After, she's like, did I do a good job?
Excuse me, mate. And then she was like, care for a snog? And so she shows him this photo of her friend with Ali, and it obviously looks like those photos that they take of prisoners from Al Qaeda and shit. But it with a background and it says sayonara, like we left. So the whole premise is now, Ali left them, and they're like, what? That's weird. Then they get another photo of Ali saying, I go home, and it's just his face. Cut to his head, decapitated head is like an obvious prop somewhere, which pisses me off because I was like, I liked Ali. I liked this character a lot. I wish he was in there more. But as always, like, funniest character gets killed first. I think the longest lasting funny character I remember in a horror film might be HUD from... what was that movie? The first person movie with the giant monster, Cloverfield. The cameraman, how he gets died and they left. They killed the most interesting character in the film. Him and the hot girl, the brunette, the one that exploded.
Well, and then I don't know. I like that Paxton ended up being the main guy.
No, I did too.
Cool.
I did too. I'm not taking that away from Ali. I just think Ali was like the funniest one that for like.
Yeah, but the party guys always die first.
Of course, yeah. You're supposed to get rid of him, and then the levity's gone out of the film, so you can be more serious. I like that they kept Paxton because Paxton was kind of like the dude who took care of business.
Very serious, and he learned because he used to be the immature one, and now he's like responsible and shit.
He goes, I have the responsibility to kill these people in horrible ways.
Shabba.
Eventually, all this stuff leads to Josh becoming, falling into prey because Natalia and Svetlana drugged them, and we're just led into this cycle of violence and kind of 80s style revenge horror, I would say.
I was actually expecting the gore in this movie to be a lot. I was expecting like Martyrs or something.
But, yeah, okay. I would understand, that idea.
It wasn't, but it didn't need to be. I think what it was perfect.
I think at the time when it first started, that level was kind of like what people thought it was more.
Right.
Watching it now, I was like
desensitized because we've seen like all these French extreme things.
Yeah, because watching it now, I was like, oh, they cut away a lot, and they do show like the worst thing to me was the Achilles heel, and cutting out the Japanese girl's eyeball.
That was very Pet Cemetery.
The Japanese girl's eyeball. That was kind of goofy though. With the
that part really bothered me.
But it eventually everybody they start carving up people. Another thing, I think I mentioned it before in the Wicker Man podcast. That the song when they start banging Natalia and Svetlana is by the Sneaker Pimps, which is called How Do, which is a song from the Wicker Man, but was a remake. It's a weird thing. But
from the first album, or after the girl left?
From the Sneaker Pimps album. No, when they had sex with them in the room for the first time.
No, but I'm saying which Sneaker Pimps album, because there's only one where the girl was on with 6 Feet Under or whatever.
Becoming X. That's a great song. I'm going to post that again. So, eventually Josh they get drugged, and Paxton luckily gets away, because when he gets drunk, he falls into a storage room instead of going back to the room like Josh does. And Josh, unfortunately, gets chopped up by the Dutch businessman. I guess the Dutch businessman.
Yeah, and that guy with the fucking humpback cut him all up.
Yeah,
it's we find out that this whole place is just like rich assholes go here to murder people.
One of the funniest parts is when Paxton first shows up to the club, because that other girl brings him in. I must have looked away. What happened to that girl? Nothing, right? She just kind of got away?
What, with the Asian girl?
The other girl that says, I got a lot of money for you, the one that leads him in, or was that Natalia without makeup?
Oh, she gets hit by a car.
Right, no, but that's... From which car?
Paxton kills her as he's escaping.
No, but he kills Svetlana. That was Natalia?
He kills them both.
No, he kills Natalia, he kills Svetlana, and he also kills Alex, that other guy. Remember? He hits them.
Yeah. He kills them all with the car, yeah.
Oh, so that was Natalia? She looked completely different to me for some reason in daylight.
No, I'm pretty sure that was her. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, maybe you're right. I just like...
But I love that scene. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was perfect, because it was like... That's when I was watching the film, and everybody that's bad in the film, it's almost like seeing this movie... They
all get it.
Yeah, everybody gets what they deserve in this film.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're watching and you're like, fuck yeah, like, how lucky is that...
I almost wish he went back in with, like, a machine gun and killed all of them, but, like,
I was, like, so happy that, like, at that scene in the movie theater, that those three asshole characters... Because, you kind of watch this film and you're like, oh, they're not going to catch anybody. He's just going to get away and that's it.
Yeah,
and you just see those three of them in that one spot, like it was like God put them there, and then just get smashed, and then Natalia gets her head fucking smashed in by that thing. And there's all these little street toughs. Paxton gives them candy, and they beat the shit out of these two guys chasing them, which is pretty cute. They were real street kids too, which is funny.
Yeah.
They factor in the sequel.
The way he beats his head in at one point. Yeah,
it was good graphics.
Oh man,
it was good computer graphics in there. And eventually they get to the train station, and the Japanese girl sees what her face has become, and I guess that's a big honor thing in Japan. I don't know. That's what in the movie. She's probably like so horrified by how bad she looked, kills herself in front of a train, and eventually Paxton gets his revenge.
To me, she has a whole new orifice for fun.
But the funniest part to me in the movie is when Paxton first shows up to the hostel, like the building, the murder place, and and the Japanese guy comes out.
That one guy though, the American killer guy that like is paying to kill people, and he's the one that removes the Japanese girl's eye. That guy is like fucking creepy.
That guy was a good actor. That guy was like, he had that. You can tell though that he was an actor, and they're letting him riff because he was kind of doing the whole, going off the rails. I think his name was Rick Hoffman. Yeah, Rick Hoffman. He was kind of going berserk in his acting. It was pretty funny. First, I was like, this guy's overdoing it, but watching it now, I appreciate it. But the thing I wanted to say. The Japanese guy with the shades that he first talks to Paxton when he walks in, he's a "You could spend all your money in there." That guy's like a really famous director.
Oh, really?
His name is Takashi Miike, and we're gonna do a month on him in September. And he did.
Okay, that's him. Okay.
I was watching, I was like, holy shit! You know that he probably just did one take, and Eli Roth was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't give a fuck, because I was laughing my ass. So it was just so funny how bad acting it was. But anyway, it's just. To me, this is like the most perfect horror / revenge kind of horror film. Yeah,
the revenge is very satisfying, and especially when it cuts the guy's fingers off. Yeah, in the last scene. Oh my god!
I love how the Dutch businessman, when he's in a bathroom stall, and I guess he's looking for more people to cut up when he sees them on the train. Apparently, Americans are the most expensive ones to kill in these that torture place, the elite hunting club. And
I could understand. I went to Europe for 3 months, and the American tourists were by far the most obnoxious part. I just tried to disassociate myself from them, like any time I saw them.
I just love the idea that people in other countries get turned on by our shitty accents.
You're right.
I don't see it, but whatever. And as they slide that little the elite hunting card under the guy's toilet stall, and he goes, "Oh, Jesus," and he gets his. In the sequel, which pisses me off, within the first 10 minutes, they kill Paxton.
Right.
Which I hate about sequels.
Who kills him?
Some more of those elite hunting guys. They just cut
What,
him
did he stay in Europe or something?
I don't know. They just find them. I guess he makes it back home because he's studying to be a lawyer. He makes it back home, But in the sequel, they find him and they deliver his head in a box to, I guess, the main guy who owns the company, which pissed me off because I like the idea of this movie ending off where he's becomes a stranger and disappears.
There was one scene I did not understand. Maybe I'm stupid, but I can't even remember exactly. But at one point they pan down to a chair, like all dramatically, and it's like an empty chair.
I don't know.
And I don't understand what the significance was.
It's art, Danny.
Yeah, but it had no significance to me.
I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. What do you want for my life, Danny?
I want you to cry.
So anyway, Hostel 2 I didn't like Hostel 2 a lot. Hostel 2 eventually didn't make any money. So what ended up happening? Because I don't know why they didn't make money. The first one made money. The sequel was all females.
Didn't make money because there's no point of a sequel.
Right. This one was perfectly, it was from beginning to end, compact and good. Had that kind of circular motion, like when they were going through the whorehouse. And then when Paxton was getting dragged through the murder room, it was kind of like, paralleling stuff. And but the sequel was no good, and that actually killed Eli Roth's plan to direct Stephen King's Cell as a feature film. That's how you get fucked in Hollywood if you.
Oh, I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah, he was, and I would have loved.
But he's good at the chaos.
He's good at chaos.
And Cell is going to be sick.
And apparently, yeah, I hope so. And apparently. Hostel 3 takes place in Las Vegas and it's direct-to-video, so I don't even want to bother with that. That's why I wouldn't bother with like Cabin Fever 2, because
there's no point. I mean, Saw, like back to Saw, the sequels of that actually all link together, and I understand. Like I always used to be against those movies, but once I watched all of them in a row, I was like, okay, it actually is like a coherent story.
And
to some extent, this sounds like just an excuse.
Cabin Fever, Roth's first movie was fun. There's a lot. I never fully sat through it, but I sat through most of it, and I was laughing because there's some really stupid crap in that movie. It has the greatest ending of any horror film of all time, just because how stupid it is. So we got to do that one day, but it's the best. And they have a Cabin Fever 2, and I don't even want to bother watching that. It's like, why would make a sequel? He makes movies where you can watch it one time and then you don't have to see any more to it,
Right. Yeah, there's no... a lot of these horror things especially make sequels for the sake of making money, and that's it.
Like him producing Aftershock, you can see where that began and ended, and you don't have to see any more Aftershocks, you know what I mean?
They'll do Aftershock 2, and then it'll be like Tsunami version, and it'll be like in Japan or something.
That's what happens at the end of Aftershock 1, But they spoiled that with the fucking trailer. Anyway, Hostel has a really good circular way of telling its story, and Paxton is a great protagonist that you think was just be some kind of frat jock in the beginning, but he ends up growing into somebody that you root for. Because he's not detailed enough of a character. He does tell a story where he sees a little girl drown when he was a child and how it haunts him to this day. And that's why he goes back to help the Japanese girl, I think, because he doesn't want to be responsible for somebody else's death. So you kind of get that story. That's when it first clicked the first time I saw it. And I was like, oh yeah, rubbing my chin like I was fucking some, genius. Anyway, but it's good characters, funny. It's like the first 40 minutes where you're not bored by characters
having sex and fight.
Getting used to it. It's shot really well. It's edited really good. The violence is as great as it can be in this kind of horror film, and I think it does its job. So I totally.
So what's your rating?
I would give this I want to give it a 10. 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. English-born, I think Chinese Asian actresses overpronouncing, maybe goofing on Japanese persons by using R instead of L and L instead of R.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. Crazy Americans that they're just having like coke-induced breakdowns as they talk about killing someone fast or slow, and their teeth are the size of chiclets.
It did look like a chipmunk. All right, so Danny, what's the final word?
For British eyes only.
The horror deconstruction.